Hello learners, I welcome you all for this session on education and media, and this is the first part of the series. This relates to your course MGM 24, which is Media and Society. Before we start our talk and our discussion today, let us know more about these two words which we are extensively going to use, education and media, and let them put into the context. As a layperson, if I ask you that who is an educated person, you may say that the one who can read and write. But there is much more to education which I am going to discuss further in this presentation. But simply speaking, yes, this is one of the attributes of an educated person, that he or she can read and write. But every educated person is a literate person. Literate means the one who can read and write. But every literate person cannot be said to be educated person, because education is much more than that. Education, we can't confine education to a very small meaning. It is much bigger than that, and that we are going to discuss in this presentation. But you can say that educated person, that means somebody is gaining knowledge, acquiring skills, and why? To create livelihood. That because of education, or you can say that education is sort of a passport to earn your livelihood to some extent. Yes, that can be said. But again, I am saying that education has a bigger role in developing your personality that we are going to discuss. The other word is media. It is plural of medium, and medium means channel of communication. Simply speaking, when we talk about communication, we say that it is the linking sender to the receiver. That means this is a channel through which something is going from sender to the receiver, and when the receiver receives it, the process of and understands it, then the process of communication is said to be complete. But again, the term media has also acquired much more importance as with the time, and now I think there are various forms of mass communication which in itself are called media. When I say electronic media, I mean radio and television. So that means it has also acquired a bigger meaning with the passage of time. Now there is a third term which has come by merging these two, and that is educational media. What is educational media? Is it media for education? That means in any case, all the mass media, they have a role in either, or they sort of, their purpose is either to inform, to educate, or to entertain. So education is a purpose of any mass medium. So media is for education, or when we say educational media, are we going to mean that role of education in media? No, that is going to be different. When we say role of education in media, then probably we are talking about media education. For going to or for becoming a professional in any media, you need to be educated, and you need to be specifically educated in journalism and mass communication. You need to be trained, and that education is called media education. So that may define the role of education in media, but in this presentation we are also not concerned about this thing. We are concerned about role of media in education. That means what role the different media platforms are playing in propagating the education. But when we say the role of media in education, then a bigger term comes to our mind, and that is educational technology. Educational technology encompasses all. That means the media is a part of it. Basically, educational technology, which is a very important branch of education, it means optimizing human learning. That means how the humans learn. If through technology, if we can optimize that, that is educational technology. So in optimizing human learning, there are two things in it. One thing is human learning, and this relates to the principles of learning. There are different theories. There are some innate biological things that decides that how we learn. But the other thing which can accelerate the process of learning or which can optimize the process of learning is educational technology, or is technology when we add to the education. But here also there are two terms which are a little bit confusing. When we say technology of education, then we mean by the theories and principles of learning which are applied and adopted for education. But when we say the technology in education, then probably we are meaning by mostly the hardware or the additional things which we are using to enhance the educational benefits. So that is called education in technology. So our focus, our concentration in this series is going to be technology in education, and that's why you can see this heading in a different color in the presentation. Now, as I was telling you, that what is the role of education? It is much more than literacy. Yes, definitely. So, if we say that the role of education is basically dissemination, creation, and an extension of knowledge. When we say that what educational institutes are doing, what they are doing, basically any educational institute, either they are disseminating the education like what we are doing today. It is a teaching learning process when something is disseminated. The second thing, that through research there is a creation of knowledge, when by doing all sorts of research and experimentation we create new knowledge. And the third thing is when we take this knowledge to the field, that means those who are actually using this knowledge or the application of the knowledge, and that is called extension, when we are taking the knowledge to the field. Second thing, that yes, it teaches you livelihood skills and social skills, and which is important for your development, your overall development, because livelihood skills and social skills, because you are living in a society, you are interacting with people, and education tells you that how these skills should be inculcated in the learners. And by doing all these things, I think the education is doing human empowerment, because anybody feel empowered when somebody is educated and he is master of his own decisions. One very important thing I would like to tell you, that this is a process of education, that means information to knowledge to wisdom. As you all are literate in computer terminology, that the minimum chunk of information is data. So basically, data is information, but any chunk of information in itself may not be relevant. You cannot get anything out of it. But when it is accumulated, it is assimilated, and it is put together in a meaningful purpose, then it becomes knowledge. So through education, what you are gaining knowledge. But then there is the third parameter, and which is the highest parameter, is the wisdom. If you can apply this knowledge, if you take it beyond that, how, yes, this is the knowledge with me, but how to apply this thing in my day-to-day activities, that is the wisdom. So overall, if I can put it like this, that it makes you a better human being. In all aspects, the role of education is to make you a better human being. Now, let us talk something about the role of media or mass media. As I have told you, that there are three basic roles which any mass media is playing, and that is information, education, and entertainment. They may be in different combinations, or maybe sometimes one is present and the others are absent, because now we have niche media openings. Like, for example, if I tell you an example, a news channel. So, news channel is basically for information. Of course, in some of the programs you may get educated or you may get some information, but it is mainly for education. Whereas the entertainment channels on television, which you see for your entertainment. So, these are the three things which you can say any mass media is trying to do. Then mass media education. If we talk about mass media, well, we can say that they can be divided into three categories. One is print, where you can put newspapers, magazines, and books. The electronic media, radio and television, as I have told you, and now new media, which is digital and internet based. So, you all know about these three types of, it's a general categorization of mass media, but educational programs, they are of two types. One, enrichment, and another curriculum based. Because we are establishing the relationship between media and education. So, there are two types of programs. The enrichment programs basically, maybe general audience can be benefited by them, and they are talking about general things which are educational in nature. For example, many of the programs, many of the documentaries you might be watching on television or on wildlife or on any scientific aspects, or maybe you listening to any radio program on these type of things. So, you enhance your knowledge because of them. The other category of programs is curriculum based. That means they are very specific programs and they are meant for a very specific targeted audience. So, if we see the trends in communication technology, the first thing we observe is that now a wide range of media are available. That means earlier we didn't have these many range of media channels, but now there are quite a few, and which we have talked about, that there is radio, television, and with the advent of computer, lot of things have been added to this. Then there is a greater diversity of access of new media. Like, for example, earlier there were all sorts of restrictions to access to these media channels, but now there is a lot of flexibility with the advent of new technology, so that every common person can access to these new technologies. Of course, costs are coming down. You might have seen yourself that earlier it used to be a costly affair to engage with media, and specifically if you want to take education through media, then it may be a little bit difficult, but now costs are coming down and you can access various resources and get benefited by those resources. Then what I have said, that new media now which are available, they are providing greater control to students. That means now we are going from the process of teaching to learning. The flexibility is with the students. They have the greater control, and if they exercise this control, they can access to these media and they can get education with the use of media. Now there is also one more thing which is happening these days and which is having a lot of effect on the relationship of media and education, and that is called convergence. We see, normally we talk convergence of technology. that lot of technologies are converging into one. And the best example of it is every day you come across with it, and that is your mobile phone. In your mobile phone, there are a lot of different kind of technologies for which we have been using different technologies in the past years, but now they have converged into one single gadget. And that's why we say that this is the convergence of technologies. But more than that, now there are other things which are needed for educational communication, they are also converging, like communication, broadcasting, computers, and content. We have to disseminate content through technology, and that content is now can be accessed through various things because all these things are coming together. It can be broadcast, which you can see on your mobile, you can read a book on your mobile, and you can also listen to a radio station on your mobile. So all these things are coming together for the benefit of the student. Then basically, if we talk about what type of education in which we are using media, what type of education are there, or what type of educational things are existing. The first one is conventional. See, you are all familiar with the conventional education. That means where the teacher and the students are face to face. In a classroom situation, they are face to face. They are facing each other and transacting the syllabus or the content. Then there were some innovations in this conventional type of education system. These innovations were led by some requirements. Like, say for example, if somebody couldn't read it and cannot read because of certain situations, certain limitations, then what they can do. In 1961, the correspondence education came. First is it was introduced in Delhi University, and the correspondence, through correspondence education, you can take your education, you can do your education by using the material which is being sent to you. Then the third thing came, which is distance education. Again, the basic feature is the same, that you need not go to any formal institution in the classroom, but the transaction of the knowledge is through multiple media. That is the basic difference. In correspondence, it was only print based. It was only print based, that you will get some material and then there are some questions in it. You have to give some answers and send it back to your teachers, and that's it. But in distance education, it was more than that. First, the use of multiple media. Then there was an inbuilt teacher even in the text. So you can say your text was built in such a manner that you can feel that there is a teacher. At regular intervals you are being asked questions and it is being summed up, and there are certain parameters of instructional technology which are followed to make that kind of instructional material. Then came the term open and distance learning, in which the openness was added, which was of course also a part of distance education. Distance education is the form of education, but openness is a quality of education. It shows the flexibility. What kind of flexibility is there in the educational system? It is beyond all bindings, and mostly the open education is through distance. Then came the blended learning. That means where the conventional and distance, if we merge these two, then sort of you can call it a blended learning. That means some of the course material or some of the content is sent to you is transacted at a distance, but you are also called for close interactions, and you also have close interaction with your peers and your teachers. That is called blended mode of learning, where both the things are visible. But now, because of this situation of COVID-19, you can see that now we are moving totally towards online learning, because now we want to reduce the human interaction. And because we want to reduce it, then everything we are transacting online, and then we can say that at the moment we are moving from distance education to online learning. Now there is a paradigm shift in education, that the age-old classroom, where, as I have told you, that the teacher and students were face to face, is changing. It is becoming distributed classroom and virtual classroom. When we speak of online learning, you see, you might be learning through your Google classrooms or different technologies, where a few people come together and they can learn, they can have a class. So that is through technology, that is virtual and distributed. Then if we talk of media, we are going from national broadcast to personal broadcast. At one point of time, when we started national broadcast, or things at a national level or transnational level, it was said to be a very major achievement, and it was a big landmark, because then we can address the entire population which we want to. But for educational purposes, we have to be focused. We are going from general to specific. We are going from general to specific audience, and therefore we need national broadcast to personal broadcast, as if somebody is broadcasting something only for you or only for a group of people, not for everybody. And that's why going from general to specific is a major paradigm shift in education. And that has led to the growth of dual mode education. Earlier, it used to be separate institution. Even still, that is the phenomena, that distance education institutions and conventional institutions. But now we can see the dual mode institutions which are being popular, and you can see many examples of these type of institutions. So friends, today we try to understand that what is media, what is education, what is sort of their role, and what is the educational technology, what kind of role it plays in it. And in the next part, we will talk about some historical perspectives or some experiments through which the media came into education in a big way, and now it has become an important component or part of it. Thank you.